All right, and we are back here on the GSMC baseball podcast. Ooh, I just hit my mic. And for the third part of the show, we are going to talk about the American League playoff picture, the entire playoff picture, not just the American League West, even though most of the teams from the American League West have a lot to do with the playoff picture right now. So, with the graphic here, this is I'm sorry. Right here, I'm so bad. Here we go. That's what I was trying to do. Uh, this is the playoff picture right now. Well, the wild card for the American League. So you have the Rays at the top. Again, it's going to be between the Orioles and the Rays for that top wild card spot, and one of them is going to get the division. So one of them is going to have home field advantage, and one of them is going to be playing in the wild card round. So it's still close right now. They're 2.5 games up, the Orioles, on the Rays. Rays were dealing with some injuries this weekend. Arozarena was hurt. Their setup man was hurt. I was just looking at one of the articles on MLB. And also Yandy Diaz, he left the game over the weekend with an injury. But Kevin Cash, I think, said it was a precautionary measure. So Rays were dealing with some injuries. And again, especially at this point in the year, that's not what you want. So you're hoping that for them, they get their guys back. And they, I mean, they're either way. I mean, they're either going to have home field advantage or they're going to have the top wild card spot. It's not. I mean, obviously, you want that. You want the division, of course, but even if you're in the wild card, you're still going to be playing games at the Trop. So, also, quick thing. Forgive me if you hear some banging downstairs again. Dad's working on the house, so. But I don't think he's going to be vacuuming like he did that one time last week, 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. So just we're just going to deal with that. It's fine. Not a big deal. But yeah. So Rays and Orioles, they're fighting for the division. Blue Jays right now sitting at 87 and 69. They are 2 games up on the Astros. And right now, yeah, they hold that second wild card spot. And I think, again, barring a collapse, I think it's safe to say that the Blue Jays are going to be right where they are, and they're going to have that second spot. Because now they're off today, the Blue Jays, but then they have the Yankees coming to town for 3 games. Now, they did win 2 out of 3. They are going to face Garrett Cole at least one more time, so that's going to be tough. But I think the Blue Jays should take that series, so that should get them. I think they at least take 2 out of 3, so that gets you to 89 and 70. And then I think they conclude the season against the Rays. So that's going to be tough. But and I mentioned that last week. But I think the Blue Jays ultimately, and well, the other thing you got to look at is this: if the Orioles wrap up the division, I mean, if the Rays are still fighting for the division, that's one thing. But if the Orioles wrap up the division and the Rays don't really have anything to play for, I mean, could they, sit their guys possibly? It's possible, but they might just, keep playing them because, you want to keep these guys, I don't want to say in shape, but you want to keep these guys, you want to carry that momentum into the postseason. So I think that's what I was trying to say. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, the Blue Jays, I really don't see them having a collapse, even though I said it can happen. I mean, I don't think they're going to lose this series to the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees are not a good team. Now, they're going to have Garrett Cole pitching in one of those games, so they should be having Garrett Cole pitch in one of these games. So that's going to be tough, but they should take 2 out of 3. And then the Rays, well, listen, they took 2 out of 3 from the Rays this weekend. Yeah, so they did what they were supposed to do. Those were big games, and we've talked about how the Blue Jays in big games in the past have kind of, fallen short. But this weekend they stepped up and they did what they were supposed to do. They took 2 out of 3. They won 6-2 on Friday. Bassett picked up the win, his 15th win on the season. And that's against Tyler Glass now, who's the Rays' best pitcher, you would say, with McClanahan being out for the whole year, well, the rest of the year. Saturday, they took the loss to the Rays in walk-off fashion. They were up 6-5 going into the 9th inning, and Jordan Romano blew it. So they could have swept the Rays if it wasn't for that. And then yesterday they won 9-5. So, I mean, I like the Blue Jays rotation. You got Gausman, Bassett, Barrios has been good. So and that's who I think that's who they're going to be pitching in this series against the Yankees. So, the Blue Jays, they should be okay. I think that they will be okay, and they just played the Rays very well. So, I think that second wild card spot is theirs. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. Also, I did talk about the Twins clinching the Central, which you knew that was going to happen. Friday's game against the Angels, they won 8-6. Saturday, they won. Oh, actually, no, they lost 1-0 to the Angels, and then yesterday, they, if I can find it, 9-3. So that was their weekend. They're 83 and 73, and yeah, they got the division, and they're basically locked into that third seed. So they're gonna play whoever is the last wild card team. So that's either gonna be the Mariners and the Astros. And again, kind of favor one of those teams over the Twins, but anything can happen. Hey, listen, you see Correa against his former team in the playoffs. That would be cool to see, but I don't know. And then you got so the Orioles are at 97 and 59. So like I said, they are 2.5 games up on the Rays in the division. Their magic number is 4. So the Orioles play the Nationals. So you figure they should win that series. And then you got the Rays playing the Red Sox. That could be a toss-up. I mean, the Red Sox, the Rays should do well in that series, but it's the Red Sox. Still a scrappy team, even though they're under 500 now, because they were over 500 for a while, and then they kind of just fell apart. And right now they're at 76 and 80. So, but I mean, the Orioles, I think right now they should they're 2.5 games up. I mean, you go out and sweep the Nationals, it's pretty much a wrap. So, but again, anything can happen. So, not that many games on tonight. You got Yankees and the Diamondbacks trying to get this series in. Third game today, so that's going to be at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. You got the Rangers playing the Angels. Astros and Mariners are playing tonight, their series. You got Verlander and Castillo on the mound, so that's a very good pitching matchup. You got the Padres and the Giants. And, that's basically it. Not that many games on tonight. Tomorrow is when we got the full slate. So, but yeah, I mean, that's basically it when you look at the playoff picture. But let me know what you guys think about the playoff picture in the American League, because, it's going to be wild, and especially in this last week of the season. There's still stuff up for grabs. That second and third wild card spot, you got, the AL West is still up for grabs, but right now the Rangers are kind of in the driver's seat for that. American League East right now, the Orioles, they're in the driver's seat as well. But again, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I mean, you look at the Astros. They got swept, and they went from being in first place in their own division to being the third wild card in the American League and only being a half game up on the Mariners. And now they're playing the Mariners in Seattle. So, and listen, Justin Verlander's got to step up. Going up against Luis Castillo, who's a Cy Young candidate in his own right. So, it's going to be that's going to be a great series. And again, especially when you got those two teams coming off of getting swept, both of them, somebody has to win tonight. Somebody's got to win tonight, and we could very well see the Mariners find themselves back in tonight with a win. But we could also see the Astros build their lead up on the Mariners and try to get themselves if they win if they beat the Mariners, that adds a game to their lead. So, but yeah, it is really going to be crazy down the stretch, and it's I can't believe it's the final week. And there's really, the only thing that's really cemented is the Twins and their playoff spot, like where they're going to be, because they're the third seed. They're basically locked in. I guess there's still a chance they could pass the Rangers, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's not going to happen, right? I don't think so. No. A lot would need to happen. I don't think the Rangers would have to basically lose out, which it's not going to happen. So I don't know. But yeah, you look at it. It's. I don't know what else to say. It's going to be hectic. That's really just the only spot that's really just the only spot that you just know that, the Twins are going to be the third seed playing in the first round. And that's it. So, but yeah, that's basically the American League playoff picture. And in the final segment of the show, we are going to talk about the NL playoff picture. And a lot of stuff happened with that. I know I was trying to talk up the Padres because they still had a chance. But their chances were kind of hurt, both more so because of the fact that other teams did well this weekend, and that kind of hurt their chances. So yeah, I just wanted it to happen for the chaos, but yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Padres, unfortunately, will not be making the postseason this year. But listen, we're getting some new teams in, so it's going to be cool to see. So yeah, but that's the third segment of today's show. So in the final segment of the show, we're going to talk about the National League playoff picture and where everything there currently stands. We'll go through the scores regarding those games, and then that will basically be it for the live stream portion of the show. And again, I want to remind you guys to support the show with donations and tips. You go to streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps out the show. And then once again, for bonus coverage materials that are not covered on this live stream broadcast, go to patreon.com and search up GSMC Sports Network, and that is where you will find, when you sign up, you will find the exclusive Patreon content of this broadcast as well, of this podcast show, as well as you'll find the others as well, the fantasy football and the college basketball, or college football and basketball. Not college basketball, basketball in general. So yeah, that's just wanted to throw that in there, the business portion of the broadcast. But yeah, so we will take our final break of the show, and then when we come back, we are going to talk about the National League playoff picture. So stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.